Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about the hemoglobin buffer system. So as you can see here, we have the hemoglobin buffer system. Here we have a red blood cell, and so we have a CO2 balance mechanism. So first of all, we have CO2 that's going to enter the cell. How is it going to do so? It's going to diffuse in. After it diffuses in, we can see this equation happening. So it reacts with the water that's already present, and when it does so, it forms the H2CO3. All right. And so what happens here, this important mechanism, is against the carbonic acid change. Now, of course, we can go from this carbonic acid into forming the H2O and CO2. So we're always in a constant balance. All right. And what enzyme is used to do this is the carbonic anhydrase. Okay, so this is an N right here. So carbonic anhydrase is used to form this mechanism. Now, when this happens, we decrease the POCO2. This is supposed to happen. Okay, so we are decreasing the CO2 that's found in the blood, and we are increasing the pH. All right, so we are increasing the pH because if you follow this equation, if we go this way right now, we are making of the uh, more of the buffers, right? So let's see what an increase in pH means. So when we have an increase in pH, that means we're making more basic, right? So we're making more basic. If we have a decrease in pH, we're making it more acidic. Okay, so this mechanism right here, we're making it more pH. How does that happens? Happens when we make more CO2. Why is that happening? Because the main player here when we talk about pH is H plus, right? So we want to decrease the concentration of H plus. When we do so, we increase the pH. So we go in the opposite direction right here. We have the bicarbonate ion making the H2CO3, which is going to form water and CO2. CO2 can diffuse and goes in the form with the respiration, and then we need the O2 coming in. All right. So here, if we continue in, so we have this buffer system as well, right over here, and this can go and diffuse as well. Now this, what is that? That's the bicarbonate ion. Is very important in the balancing of the acid-base balance in the kidneys. So the kidneys reabsorb or excrete the HCO3 minus as it needs to. So the main function of the bicarbonate is the acid-base balance, right? And how it does so by either by binding to the H plus, right? So we have the H pluses right here. These are these are decreasing the pH. So if it binds to them, then we're going to increase the pH. Why? Because we got rid of that H plus. So when we did that, we actually formed more. Now another mechanism by which we can decrease, so this was the first mechanism. The second mechanism by which we can decrease H plus concentration is the binding of the hemoglobin to the H plus, right? So one of the other mechanisms by which we can increase that, and that is the main focus of the hemoglobin buffer system, is that the hemoglobin is going to bind to the H plus. When it does so, it's going to decrease the H plus concentrations, and so it was increase the pH as well. All right? So it's going to do so. Now, importantly, how do we get that free H plus, right? So it's not HB, sorry, the hemoglobin. How do we get it to be free? Well, if you know, hemoglobin always is bound to an oxygen, right? So when we have an oxygenated, normal, working red blood cell, we have the hemoglobin bound to an oxygen. Hemoglobin has a four subunits attached together, and each contains oxygen in them. Now, what needs to happen is that the hemoglobin has to get rid of its oxygen, then it would be able to become free and then bind to that H plus. All right, the oxygens would then diffuse, and then these would go to the tissue. Now, imagine here we have the tissue, and that H2 would go in here and then does that. Okay, so this is how the hemoglobin buffer system works, and how is it very important against the carbonic acid changes. It can help with that. It can help in decreasing the PCO2. It can help increasing the pH, helps in binding to the H plus, helps in the making of more bicarbonate, and the balances of the HCO3 minus ion, which is the bicarbonate ion. So I hope this summarizes how important the hemoglobin buffer system is. Thanks so much and have a good day.